This is NTA Nationwide. My name is Femi Johnson and thanks for joining us. The federal government has granted Nigeria's citizenship to 335 foreigners who met stipulated conditions for such rights as provided for in the Constitution. Minister of Interior Abdurrahman Dambazao announced this while briefing journalists after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that the Council also made several other approvals in respect of water and power supply, as well as solid mineral development.
The Federal Executive Council meeting second for the year 2017 deliberated extensively on the recommendations of an interministerial advisory committee as regards the various applications submitted by those interested to becoming Nigerians. Interior Minister Abdurrahman Dambazao, who presented the memo to that effect, said the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended were considered in selecting those who met the requirements to be so honored with the citizenship of Nigeria.
The last time this was done was in 2013. So we had some backlog of these applications. We have over 500 applications that we considered. Out of these 500 applications, 335 in total were recommended for citizenship, either by naturalization or by registration. There are 245 that apply for citizenship by naturalization and 90 by registration. And that is what is popularly known as Niger wives. This is for women from foreign countries who are married to Nigerian citizens.
The council, which also decries the high rate of abandoned projects across Nigeria as bane of infrastructure development, approved an outline business case for the concession of the 30 megawatts Gurara hydropower plant to feed the industrial area of Kaduna for enhanced socio-economic activities. Over 1.7 billion naira has also been approved for the completion of Sapke water supply project in Katsina State, designed to provide about 51 million liters of water to 17 communities, as well as 1,200 hectares of irrigable land.
I inherited 117 ongoing and abandoned projects. I inherited liability of 89 billion naira, that's claims by contractors waiting to be paid, and a total projection of another 250 billion to complete those 117 ongoing projects. So our task has been to concentrate more on completing some of these projects. So we set out to do a technical audit on these projects, based on which we prioritize them. This particular project happens to be one of those that it's among the low-hanging fruits, and therefore a high priority project, because we spend a little more money in order to get value for the purpose of which the project was intended. And we are going to continue like that. We hope that under the 2017 budget that we'll be able to complete at least 25% of those 170 ongoing projects.
Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu also said that as a matter of priority, his ministry will in the next 2 years de-emphasize the execution of new projects so as to complete as many ongoing projects as possible in line with the National Water Resources Master Plan.
That way we'll get value money for the country, and we think that because a lot of these projects also have direct impact on the citizenry, there's no reason why they should be abandoned. And this is going to be a policy of this administration to continue to take viable projects and complete them, notwithstanding the fact that they were initiated by different past governments.
He, however, said studies will be embarked upon for additional irrigation and hydro projects in view of their importance to the economic well-being of the country. Also at Wednesday's meeting, the Federal Executive Council has granted approval for the upgrade of softwares for the National Pension Commission, as well as the provision of information system for mining activities as part of the government's economic diversification drive. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Assembly has restated commitment to strengthening its legislative process towards making laws that will take Nigeria to our pride of place. Chairman Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, and his House of Representative counterpart, Abdulrazak Namdas, said these while discussing the 2017 legislative agenda on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria. Gufan Shaji reports.
Both lawmakers indicated that priority areas of the National Assembly this fiscal year includes approval of the medium-term expenditure framework and the fiscal strategic paper. This is to pave way for the eventual passage of the 2017 appropriation bill, which they noted is most critical and urgent. Other areas of focus include constitutional amendment and the petroleum industry bill. Others are bills that are critical in getting Nigeria out of recession, as well as intensifying oversight, enhancing transparency and accountability.
But what we are going to witness is implementation of this agenda through various legislative activities and actions. And I think it is these activities and actions that we should begin to look at, because our agenda is very clear: diversification of the economy, strengthening our legislative process so that we can do the lawmaking process, the oversight process as legislators in a manner that we promote good governance.
I tell you that the Procurement Act he made also, we are working on it, because it takes close to 6 months for the procurement to take place, and it's only better if you want this economy to be faster. We need to also pass.
A public affairs analyst in his contribution said the legislature should look into promoting the market economy in the country. He also stressed the need for an economic team to be set up to look into the state of the economy so as to tackle recession as soon as possible.
If there are fundamental ideological problems from the government, the legislature should step in and to remind the government that you swore to defend the democracy. Defending the democracy means looking after the market system. The market is a component of democracy. And what do you have? You must do things to grow the economy.
In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
And in a presentation to the Senate Other Committee on the recovery on remitted revenues, Mr. Yusuf Matashi, Managing Director of the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, NPDC, the upstream subsidiary of NNPC, has provided clarification on the alleged non-remittance of crude proceeds from some divested oil wells. In a statement signed by the Group General Manager, Public Division of the NNPC, Mr. Matai explained that the value of the crude oil lifted from May 2013 to August 2016 was $3.294 billion as against $3.487 billion claimed by the committee. The NPDC boss drew the attention of the committee to the fact that on the basis of the ministerial assignment of the assets to NPDC, cash call funding of the assets by government has ceased, and the company is funding the cost of production and lifting of the crude. On the allegation that the NPDC has been lifting crude oil from divested oil well to the tune of $1.847 billion, out of which it paid only $100 million. The managing director also explained that it referred to by the Senate committee are not part of the divested assets. Also, on the report that a total of over $300 million worth of crude oil has not been remitted between January and August 2016, including non-payment of due royalties and taxes, Mr. Matashi noted that a total of over $600 million was made by the NPDC as royalties and petroleum profit tax in 2016. However, the managing director stated that the NPDC is ready to engage all stakeholders to resolve all outstanding payments. Also, the federal government has once again demonstrated its resolve to complete the second Niger bridge. This followed the announcement of release of over 14 billion naira to the contractor handling the project as Nigerians continue to hail this laudable step. Austin Edemodu made efforts to ascertain the situation on ground, and this is what he brought back.
Security operative of the construction company Julius Berger Consortium Limited could not allow NTA News crew and other media reporters access to the project site. Phone calls to the public relations officer of the company were not answered.
But what I'm trying to tell you, You cannot, as a journalist, you cannot just leave
the news is is on air everywhere that work is going on here. But we cannot, and we get to verify.
See,
if work is going on.
That is not my concern. My concern is this. I secure this environment. Before you come to this environment, you have to take permission before you come inside.
Let me ask again. Is work going on here?
Don't ask me any question.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, while speaking on NTA Onitsha Current Affairs program, said the federal government has released 14 billion naira for the recommencement of work on the second Niger bridge.
14 billion naira was approved for Mr. Beja, Nigerian Limited. Those who are doing the construction, they are the contractors. Last December, they have approved the money. By this January, the Beja will assess the fund.
The Senate Committee on Works, during their visit to Anambra State last year, promised to ensure that the Onitsha-Amansi axis of the Onitsha-Enugu Expressway is captured in the 2017 budget. Other federal roads begging for attention in Anambra State include Oba-Nnewi-Okigwe Road, Umeza-Nam-Kogi Road, as well as Onitsha-Adane-Nsukka Road. In the meantime, traders and other stakeholders in Onitsha have appealed to the federal government to expedite action in the construction of the second Niger bridge to boost the economy of the southeast region.
The completion of the project, it will even affect our business in a sense that container can be able to be coming in and going out.
The southeast cannot move without that bridge. We can't. So our stand is government should do something as a matter of urgency.
They believe that with the second Niger bridge, the lifespan of the existing one will be elongated. In Onitsha, Uchenna Nwekoyo, NTA News.
Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun says the federal government has started the development of a special housing scheme and family homes fund to complement the takeoff of the $300 billion Diaspora bond initiative this year. The minister disclosed this when the senior special assistant to the president on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, called on her. Ogechi Paul was there.
The Family Homes Fund scheme, the minister explained, was conceived to effectively drive the Diaspora bond initiative. She said the scheme would deliver modern, secure, affordable, and ready-to-occupy houses, complete with certificates of occupancy.
The Family Homes Fund has two aspects for the diaspora. We're funding developers who are building mass housing, 500 houses, 1,000 houses at a time. I think it's going to make coming back to Nigeria a lot more palatable for people abroad now. So we're hoping that by March, the diaspora bond will also be rolled out. We think that Nigerians want to support the development of Nigeria. They have funds that they're ready to invest in Nigeria, and they're keen on this product, and we're also very keen to get it out.
Presidential aide on Diaspora, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, who is anxiously longing for the takeoff of the bond, shares her sentiments.
Nigerians in Diaspora deserve to be engaged. Nigerians in Diaspora deserve to be part of the programs and policies of government, to be part of the bond, because they are eagerly waiting for that.
The housing scheme is in partnership with state governments and financial institutions and has kicked off in Nasarawa, Anambra, Delta, Ogun, and Lagos states. Ogechi Paul, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria and China have reaffirmed their commitment to strengthen bilateral ties and foster partnership in infrastructure, development, as well as agriculture. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, said this at a strategic meeting with Chinese Foreign Minister in Abuja. Gabriel Odo reports.
It was frank talk between the two ministers as discussions centered on the urgent need on the Nigerian side to diversify the economy, tackle energy crisis and security.
The Chinese government has been showing a lot of cooperation with us in this area, helping us in the area of transportation, in particular rail projects, road projects, airport projects, and we're extremely appreciative of that. And of course the Minister of Transport is here, and a lot of the projects involve his ministry.
The meeting later dissolved into a closed door and later a press briefing. On the area of agriculture, the minister said food security is a top priority.
Just how much is lost
because of our inability to preserve food. So in the context of food security, that's already a major area in which to cooperate.
The agriculture sector is a very important part of the economic policy of President Buhari aimed at diversifying the Nigerian economy.
The visit of the Chinese foreign minister to Nigeria underscores President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to the People's Republic of China in 2015, where the Chinese government promised a $60 billion investment to Nigeria. From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Gabriel Odu, NTA News.
The federal government says it is unrelenting in its efforts to ensure the safe return of the remaining Chibok schoolgirls who are still in captivity. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the assurance while responding to a letter written to him by Ms. Malala Yousafzai, the co-founder of the Malala Fund. President Buhari said, while he cannot divulge the details of the ongoing negotiations to secure the release of the girls due to sensitive nature of the negotiations, he gave an assurance of the doggedness, commitment, and sincerity of Nigeria's federal government towards ensuring the safe return of the Chibok girls and indeed all others still in captivity. In the letter signed on his behalf by the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the President said, the gallant troops of the Nigerian military have recently scored a great victory by seizing control of the Sambisa forest, the last stronghold of the Boko Haram elements who are responsible for the kidnap of the girls. Lagos is our first stop on Nationwide as Demola is standing by now for some reports making waves there. It's over to you, Demola, and good afternoon.
Thank you, Femi. Good afternoon and warm welcome to Lagos. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has fixed February 23rd to rule on a motion to introduce oral evidence in a suit filed by a journalist, Otumba Olomofe, against the Nigeria Customs Service over alleged rights infringements. Vera Chinwoba has more.
The Lagos branch of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, had filed the suit on behalf of the Badagry-based journalist Otumba Olomofe, seeking enforcement of his fundamental rights to life, freedom of expression, and the press. Joined as respondents are the Comptroller General of Customs, Mohamed Ndalati, Emmanuel Nkendelem, and Turaki Ibrahim. The applicant had filed the suit following alleged severe assault and beating he suffered in the hands of customs officers and some hoodlum allegedly hired by customs. At the resumed hearing, counsel to the plaintiff, G.T. Ogune, informed the court of his motion seeking leave to introduce oral evidence, as well as to file a further affidavit and written address. The applicant is claiming 500 million naira as damages against customs for the abuse he suffered at Semeboda on the 25th of June 2015. Justice Abdulaziz Anka has fixed the 23rd of February to rule on the motion. In Lagos, Vera Chinwoba, NTA News.
The ongoing project by the federal government is to restore the country's rail transport after decades of neglect is a leap towards revitalizing the national economy and sharing news to Nigerians. However, there are growing concerns about various abuses on the rail examines the issues.
Since the completion of major rehabilitation works on the narrow gauge railway network, the interconnectivity between Lagos and some cities in the country have been established. But there are various challenges that require urgent attention of the Nigerian Railway Corporation to ensure a hitch-free train ride across the states. The activities of traders on rail tracks have presented a new wave of violation on the railway corridor. The Nigerian Railway Corporation is also grappling with illegal structures on the right-of-way.
We've been doing continuous raid with the help of the Railway Police Command, and quite a number of people have been taken to court. Sometimes last year, we did a demolition of illegal structures, shanties along rail track. Within some few months, they are back there.
Despite a train accident that claimed the life of a female trader on the track in Yaba in 2016, these traders have remained adamant.
Sometimes we are there, few days like this now, train will come and destroy some things.
The nurse of train will be here. It don't master us.
They are breaking the law.
otherwise, but they have to do it in order to earn a living.
Yes, it's dangerous. God has been protecting us. When the train is coming, I run away.
I pray very well.
Officials of Nigerian Railway Corporation in Lagos District Office, however, say arrangements are being concluded for an inter-agency enforcement that will effectively tackle the menace of trading, illegal structures, and other social vices on the rail tracks. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
Lagos residents have called on the government to come up with policies that will improve the well-being of the populace. This was the submission of some respondents who spoke with NTA News on the challenges of living in Lagos. Rotimi Oluwagbemi completes the story.
Lagos, apart from being a commercial nerve of the country, is also described as a melting point for different people both in Nigeria and outside the country. This influx of these visitors has led to increase in population and inadequate social infrastructure. Some respondents who spoke with NTA News say surviving in a challenging environment like Lagos has become a hard nut to crack.
Transportation is a major challenge in Lagos, moving from one place to the other, especially when you look at the massiveness of the population of Lagos.
Many of these SMEs are closing. They can't work because we practically do not have electricity.
Talk about the cost of living, the food, the rents. It's like the prices are multiplying by the days, and our source of income still remains constant.
They suggested a way out to cushion the effect of these challenges.
The government can do more about job creation for our teeming youths that are graduating every year.
In the area of budget, federal government should give more to Lagos State so as it can help in the area of housing, area of roads, the area of jobs. This will make life easy for Lagosians.
Lagosians are, however, optimistic that cooperation with the government and perseverance, there is light at the end of the tunnel. In Lagos, Rotimi Oluwagbemi, NTA News.
And that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Femi, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Demola. Nigeria has developed a strategic plan and roadmap to achieve zero hunger by 2030. The document was designed under the leadership of former President Olusegun Obasanjo to serve as a guide for policy and lawmakers towards eradication of hunger and malnutrition, as well as ensure food security in the country. Musa Babaliu reports.
The Zero Hunger Strategy is designed to articulate what government at all levels must do to ensure the actualization of Sustainable Development Goal 2 by the year 2030 through an open and consultative process. The main target of the strategic plan is hunger eradication through access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food before the end of the targeted period. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo expressed the hope that the initiative will support and encourage the government to implement the policies, strategies, plans, and programs that have been formulated over the years for food stability. The former president commended President Muhammadu Buhari for endorsing the Nigeria Zero Hunger Strategic Review.
We must give agribusiness a new image and make farmers the kings which they are, as sustainers of lives and foundations of economic activities. Put another way, agribusiness must be dignified and agriculture must be made glamorous.
The global strategy for infant and young child feeding talks about inappropriate feeding techniques in many of these areas and the issue of education and poverty. And to really achieve zero hunger, we need to tackle these root causes.
The strategic plan will be implemented in 4 selected states, which are Benue, Ebonyi, Ogun, and Sokoto.
We can offer technologies which are completely advanced in the 4 states and for the country.
All hands must be on deck to ensure that not only that we formulate this policy, we must ensure that we implement it to the letter.
The development of the document was with the support of the United Nations agencies, the African Development Bank, and the private sector. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
As the war against insurgency records more successes in northeast Nigeria, leading to an upsurge in the number of the internally displaced persons, the Victim Support Fund is scaling up its operations in area of health, education, and women empowerment. The executive director of the fund said this while interacting with the UNDP resident representative Edward Kalun in Abuja. Fatima Aliu reports.
The meeting between the two agencies with similar mandates of providing succor to victims of insurgency and survivors dwells extensively on nipping in the bud the root cause of insurgency and helping the victims to overcome trauma of war. With over 2 million people currently displaced in Nigeria, quick, efficient and effective resettlement of victims to resume agricultural activities and ensure food security remains a priority.
So one of my biggest efforts is going to focus on how really I can get the United Nations to come together, deliver as one, bring in the synergies and comparative advantages of the respective UN agencies at work to support the effort of the government of Nigeria.
So we'll be establishing an office in Maiduguri and another office in Yola, increasing the level of local partners, the NGOs that will be our eyes and ears on ground.
The UNDP representative also reacted to allegation of the misuse of funds meant for IDPs by international agencies.
The United Nations system is an accountable system. And I'm sure if I receive a request from the governor of Borno on what the international community is bringing in and what is being spent, we will be ready to give that information.
To achieve effective and efficient collaboration in the resettlement of the internally displaced persons, the meeting further advocates synergy between the UN, international communities, and the Nigerian governments. In Abuja, Fatima Aliu, NTA News.
And from Fatima, we now move to our Southwestern Network Center, where Asmau is standing by to give us details on NAFDAC's confiscation of counterfeit drugs and also some other reports. Over to you.
Hello, Femi. Good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. The National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has confiscated fake and counterfeit drugs worth millions of naira in Sokoto. The drugs were seized during an enforcement exercise carried out by officials of NAFDAC. Sheikh Muhammad Detti completes the story.
Among the seized counterfeits were fake anti-malaria and anti-cold drugs. Leader of the enforcement team and Deputy Director of Investigation and Enforcement, Shaba Muhammad, said the exercise is targeting fake and counterfeit drugs being sold in different parts of the country. The exercise, according to him, is nationwide with a view to checkmating the influx of fake and unwholesome items into the country. He frowned at the manner such drugs are smuggled into Nigeria without using them in the countries that produce them. He disclosed that the agency will soon clamp down on sellers of fake fruit juice and cosmetics across the country.
When these things are imported into the country, of course, they're coming either through Lagos or through some ports in the east or south, but these things are not being consumed there. They are now ferried up north, and into this north, it's not the major shops that even sell these things. They take them to very remote locations. Even in this market, we can say that these very shops are very remotely located.
6 suspects were arrested in connection with the seizure and will soon be prosecuted, while the drugs have been taken to NAFDAC laboratory in Sokoto. Sheikh Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
The College of Education, Maru in Zamfara State, is to start awarding degree programs this year. The provost of the college, Alhaji Nasiru Yusuf Sarkin-Power, stated this when he received the State Commissioner of Education, who was at the school to assess the facilities and equipment in the college. Jamil Ibrahim Gusau reports.
Zamfara College of Education Maru, established since the creation of the state, now has over 280 staff of different standard. The college has a library that contains 28 million varieties of current books, auditorium, standard clinic and equipped laboratories. The hostels for both male and female were constructed and with that they stand the test of time. Inspecting the college, Zamfara State Commissioner of Education Alhaji Mukhtar Luga said the college has adequately prepared for the commencement of award of first degree. He expressed satisfaction with what he has seen which he said is not unconnected with the commitment of the college management for the upliftment of its status. The provost reiterated the fact that the college has all the necessary facilities for the degree program. In Gusau, Jamil Ibrahim, NTA News.
And that's our package from Sokoto. Nationwide continues with Femi in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Asmao. Towards reviving the education sector in Borno State, which suffered a great setback in 5 years of insurgency, a post-insurgency capacity building for principals and vice principals of secondary school across the state has taken place. Abubakar Mohammed Musa reports.
Declaring the workshop open, Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima, who was represented by the Deputy Governor Usman Mohammed Rukwa, said government has completed the renovation of some dilapidated schools and currently rebuilding those destroyed by insurgents in the state, in addition to overhauling boarding schools where IDPs were camped in an effort to ensure sustainable educational system. Government, he added, is planning to recruit qualified teachers soon and will provide 1 square meal in all primary schools in the state as strategy to encourage enrollment and call on teachers to sit up. Stakeholders at the occasion spoke at length on impact of uprising to educational development and urged the principals and vice principals to make sure they engage students in consistent activities that will make them forget their traumatic experiences.
Many schools were destroyed. Many teachers lost their lives. Many students were lost. In fact, according to our records, nearly 250 teachers were killed.
Borno State Teaching Service Board promised to work closely with other stakeholders to ensure the resuscitation of the education sector in the state. In a similar effort by Borno State government towards full restoration of education, a committee for the renovation of primary schools destroyed by Boko Haram insurgents in southern Borno Senatorial District has been constituted. While addressing members of the committee, Borno State Deputy Governor Usman Mohammed Rukwa noted that though the impact of damage to schools is relatively low in view and how local government areas, the insurgency has no doubt left several critical infrastructures like primary schools either damaged or dilapidated due to forceful closure as a result of the insurgency. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
In another development, residents of Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, are also facing great challenges in banking transactions owing to the insurgency, which has brought changes to the operations and the need to comply with CBN directives on adhering to the due process. Mohammed Ibrahim reports.
Banking operations in Maiduguri metropolis have had its fair share of challenges due to insecurity that bedeviled Borno State as a result of 5 years of insurgency, which led to reduction of banking hours to last from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. Residents of Maiduguri who spoke to NTA News say they do not enjoy the expected service.
Always when you come, there is no money. Yeah? You can see that's why people are killed. If all these ATMs, they can put more money for people to get to solve their problem. Yeah? We'll have no problem, even with this one.
We the customers, we have right to complain. These people are doing our own services. They are working for us. You get me? They are working for us, but they become very reluctant, so the banking hall is worse than ATM.
Those using the automated teller machines ATM for transactions also complain of non-dispensing machines, delays in sashing of cash by the banks, and general poor service that is only available during some hours of the day.
Banks, they will debit you, then instantly before you leave that spot, they will credit you back that so money was unable to dispense, that they return it back to you. But not all banks. Some banks, they find it difficult. They ask you to come 1 week, 2 weeks, fill form. You keep on filling form to the extent that even you too, you won't fed up. Yeah, to me, I've been finding it difficult to do internet banking. They're very poor.
All the customers interviewed called for improved services in banking halls and at ATM points. Two bankers summed up challenges revolving the banking system in Maiduguri as issues with BVN, ATM serving only designated banks, and influx of displaced people to the state capital.
Mostly the pressure is around salary period. Maybe 2, 3, 4 days. Those people that came in from the local government councils, initially they were being paid salary on table.
They advised banks to replace old ATMs with new ones, stash more cash in them to meet rising figures in value and volume, and customers to be more patient in the face of increased customers. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. You are still on to NTA Nationwide. Time now for a short break to bring you some messages. Nationwide will come up shortly. Don't go away.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
I banned my wife not to give me fast food. Now she has turned to Mama Put.
Hey!
My own is even better. My children are now like one. Tea and bread in the morning, tea and bread in the afternoon, under hot sun, tea and bread when they want to go to bed.
I told Shirley, can she cook? She said yes, she can cook. Good and fine. I bet her. She gave me the cost. I gave her 2,000 naira. After several hours, she cooked palm wine for me to eat. So I never know her.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Funky Malam, Ime Bishop.
Go to Mama Put and buy food for him. Put it in the freezer. Automatically it becomes homemade food.
Caroline.
Professor John Bull, this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times.
Over and out.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
The essence of having a leader. When you promise, you make sure that you fulfill your promises. And that's what I'm after in particular, the success of my husband's administration. And he can't do it alone except with the help of the governors, the governor's wives, and all members of our progressive party.
A king, his throne, his subjects. A chronicle of centuries of conquest, strength, struggle, and victory. A thriving culture. The Nigerian Television Authority presents Benin, Might, Mystery, and Myth. Benin Kingdom, showing on the network service of the NTA.
Appreciating the resilience of the Nigerian Armed Forces, join the Minister of Defense, service chiefs and other stakeholders in the defense sector as we pray for the Nigerian Armed Force veterans of various world and internal conflicts. Venue, National Mosque, Friday 13 January 2017. Time, 1 p.m. The welfare of the troops, the veterans and the families of our fallen heroes is the responsibility of all. Be a part of the national appreciation of the resilience of the armed forces, our veterans and the families of the fallen heroes. The efficacy of prayer is not to be underestimated. Join other Nigerians as we pray for Nigeria, our troops, our veterans, our fallen heroes, and those they left behind. Join us. Announcer, Brigadier General Rabe Abubakar for National Planning Committee.
Okay, sir. You may now go in for your interview.
Thank you. Ah, my shoe. And to think I just bought this very expensive foreign shoe 2 months ago.
So sorry about your shoes. This is why I advise my friends to always patronize made in Nigeria products. See this shoe. It's made in Nigeria and I've had it for 2 years and it's still as good as the day I bought it.
Made in Nigeria products are good quality, and stringent government regulations and certification now mean that goods made in Nigeria meet international standards. Make the patriotic choice today. Buy right. Buy Made in Nigeria.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
You are still on to NTA Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. The House of Representatives has summoned the Minister of Aviation and his staff to brief the House on the planned closure of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Members also urged President Muhammadu Buhari to extend Nigeria's readiness to grant asylum to the outgoing Gambian President, Yahya Jammeh, as part of measures to end political stalemate in the Gambia. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo encourages the habit of reading as he also inaugurates a library. These and more as we join Kemi in Ibadan Network Center. Kemi, take it away.
Good afternoon, Femi, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. Former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo says humanitarian effort and investment in education of a community remains one of the enduring legacies with unquantifiable impact in the academic life of the people. He made the observation at the inauguration of the Raji Okesa Memorial Library in Iseyin, Oyo State. Larry Bele has the details.
The project has been described as obeying the clarion call of the government on the need for Nigerians to partner with the government at all levels in revamping the educational sector. The former head of state, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, lauded the project, describing it as exemplary. This view was echoed by the traditional rulers who spoke at the program. Alhaji Raji Okesa said he embarked on the project as a means of giving back to the society.
To ensure that the younger ones do not suffer what some of us went through.
The chairman of Iseyin local government, where the library is situated, Alhaji Adejari Alaran, said the impact the project will have on the community will be immeasurable. The Raji Okesa Library is a multi-million naira project equipped with the latest trend and mode of assessing educational instructions and nuggets of knowledge, which include the e-library. From Iseyin, Larry Bilei, NTA News.
The ambassador of the United States of America to Nigeria, Mr. Stott Symington, has described Nigeria's democracy as unique and commendable. He made the remark in Abeokuta at a court visit to Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun. Lepa Agbode has the details.
The U.S. ambassador, Mr. Stuart Symington, says his mission in Ogun State is to get acquainted with Nigeria and Ogun State as part of the efforts to further cement the bilateral relationship between U.S. and Nigeria, while acknowledging the role of the media in democratic governance, especially by connecting the people to the government. The U.S. envoy expresses his delight with the importance the government attached to education, which he says is the only way to develop the people.
Very much like your president says. He said Nigeria was once the breadbasket of Africa. And when it was, everyone depended on those wonderful farmers who provided the food and the wealth for a country. And all those other people who do their work.
Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun, while welcoming the U.S. envoy, took time to tell him more about what makes Ogun State stand out among other states of the Federation.
Which is one thing that investors, entrepreneurs, and people have found in the state because the market is there. We are trying to do what New Jersey is to New York.
He says a strong economic tie with the U.S. will be of immense benefit to both parties. He asks for more America's investments in the state. In Abeokuta, Lekan Agbode, NTA News.
Oyo State government is to acquire 600 hectares of farmland belonging to Oodua group of companies to boost agricultural practices in the state. The governor, Abiola Ajimobi, while inspecting the farmland in Oyo town, explained that the property has been abandoned for long, hence the move to put it to maximum use. Adebola Ogulano has the details.
About 600 hectares of farmland located at Awe Iwo Road in Oyo Town was inspected by Governor Abiola Ajimobi. The governor said the land, which was acquired by Odua conglomerates, was abandoned over the years, saying Oyo State government is ready to take the land back for farming. The governor maintained that this exercise would be of tremendous assistance to the state's agricultural projects. He explained that the state's agri policy will attract more investors to the state and create job opportunities, while calling on traditional rulers and landowners to release their land for either lease, rent, or sales to investors.
Already, we give them farming inputs, credits, we educate them, we have all these Fadama program, so many. In fact, farmers now will be the richest in Oyo State if they key into any of our programs.
He also assured farmers that the state government will assist them with funds to boost cassava production. The governor earlier inspected the proposed automated silos of 10,000 metric ton capacity, which is being constructed in Oyo Town. In Ibadan, Adebola Ogulano, NTA News.
And that's it. So Ibadan is back to you, Femi, for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Kemi. The federal government's social insurance intervention scheme for the poor and vulnerable will not only empower the downtrodden, but fast-track national prosperity through quality health and increased productivity of the nation. These are the views of guests on NTA's Current Affairs program, Moment for Thought.
If you look around the world, these cash transfers have really made an impact in reducing poverty and providing some buffer for the poor, making them more resilient to shocks, enabling them to at least start a life of productivity.
The whole rationale here is that you have to break the poverty cycle, you have to reduce poverty, and eventually break it, the vicious circle in that family. That is why households are being targeted.
Moment for Thought comes up tonight at 10:30 on NTA Network Service. The Cross River State Governor, Ben Ayade, has unveiled the theme for the 2017 Carnival in Calabar with a pledge to increase its funding to make it bolder and also bigger. The governor stated this at the Green Ball and Key Players Dinner in Calabar. Udo Aketim completes that story.
With the theme Migration, the governor said it is time for Africa to reveal herself and do internal assessment and find values on what Africa knows to do best. He explained that the choice of theme is to highlight the inherent and continuous quest by Africans to seek for greener pastures outside the shores of Africa at the detriment of their heritage. The governor, who said the 2017 Carnival competition will be streamlined and structured to bring value and excitement, urged Africans to come together to address the scourge of global migration.
Africans must put an end to the continuous search for an alternative. Africa is the richest continent on earth. Africa has got the greatest forest reserves. Africa has got a wonderful climate. Africa has got massive rainfall. Africa has got no volcanoes. Africa has got everything for Africa to make a change. So as a Pan-Africanist, the 2017 Carnival will be the real carnival, the carnival that will express the true strength of the black man.
Governor Ayade at the event believed that Africa is better placed to tell her story better than anyone else. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
Eminent Nigerians have continued to condole with the family of late former governor of Niger State, Abdulkadir Kure, over his death. The latest is the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who was accompanied by former political office holders, including ministers. Momso Damian Deiti reports.
President Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who arrived in company of former ministers,
immediate past leaders of the National Assembly. His former chief of staff, among other prominent political office holders, was received at the residence of late Kure by his former deputy governor, Dr. Shem Zagbainihu, and other state PDP stalwarts. Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who condoled the immediate family of the deceased and entire people of Niger State, described Abdul Qadir Abdullahi Kure as a patriotic Nigerian whose simplicity, generosity, and leadership style has impacted positively on the state and entire nation. He also described Kure as a strong pillar of the People's Democratic Party, whose immense contributions have geared the party to greater heights.
Because of his competencies, especially in engineering, we appointed him to chair FEMA. And of course, he's a member of the PDP Board of Trustees, which I've been a part for quite a long time.
Son of the deceased, Umar Abdul Qadir Kure, on behalf of the family, thanked the visitors for their love and concern.
He was extremely simple. He accommodated everyone from the top to the bottom across the board of society.
The delegation who prayed for the repose of the soul of the deceased also prayed God to grant the family the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. They later offered special prayers at the graveside. In Mina, Momsodo Mendati, NTA News.
And in a bid to assist the Nigerian Police Force in crime prevention, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has refurbished 30 patrol vehicles for the Federal Capital Territory Police Command. Shuaibu Onoze Yakubu reports that a brand new car was also donated to the command by the Chinese Embassy.
The refurbished patrol vehicles include a water cannon used for crowd control, 2 armored personnel carriers, a lorry, 21 Hilux vans, and 5 Toyota Corollas. FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello said the idea of refurbishing damaged vehicles and making them operational will reduce cost in governance.
It's not the issue of buying. We cannot afford it. 1 million now is almost how much? 10 million. So we have to sit down and we have to understand that for us to salvage our country and for us to provide service to the populace, this is the kind of thing we have to do.
The FCT Police Commissioner Muhammad Mustafa commended the FCT administration for giving the financial assistance in refurbishing the 30 operational vehicles at a cost of less than 10 million naira.
We are aware that these vehicles are all part of the vehicles we use in carrying out patrols and other crime preventive measures in the Federal Capital Territory. We have succeeded in repairing about 30. The talk of the town that people are really appreciating that these rickety vehicles were able to come to this present shape.
A brand new car was also donated to the command by the Chinese Embassy. In Abuja, Shuaibu Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
And to sports, Super Eagles now 50th in the world and also 7th on the continent in the latest FIFA ranking as FC Fanyuba Relish Charity Cup victory. Let's join the Indesani with our guide on sports updates.